1. The beginning of captivity, dark years in Ötürken.
In 630, the Eastern Turkic Khaganate was defeated and destroyed by the Tang dynasty in China. Hundreds of thousands of Turkic people were driven into Chinese territory and condemned to live in captivity. Turkic nobles and people faced the danger of assimilation under the yoke of the Chinese emperor. KÜRŞAD, one of the Turkic princes, served as a guard officer in the Chinese court, but his heart always burned with the fire of independence.
2. The secret oath, 40 faithful hearts.
9 years had passed since the captivity. Unable to bear China's assimilation policies and the humiliation of his people any longer, KÜRŞAD secretly gathered with 39 Turkic warriors he trusted. They mixed their blood with kumis, fermented mare's milk, and swore an oath. They would capture Emperor Li Shimin of China, smuggle him to Ötürken, and use him as leverage for the release of Turks held captive in China. The goal was to re-establish the Göktürk state.
3. Target and plan, the emperor in the street.
The plan was quite clever. It was known that Emperor Li Shimin sometimes walked the streets of the capital, Chang'an, at night, disguised and accompanied by only a small number of guards. KÜRŞAD and his 40 warriors would ambush the emperor during one of these night walks and capture him alive. Everything was planned step by step, and the date of the raid was set.
4. The unexpected storm, the plan changed.
On the night of the raid, an unprecedentedly violent storm broke out in Chang'an, and torrential rain began. Because of this storm, the emperor did not leave the palace that night. The postponement of the plan meant the exposure of the secret committee and the discovery of the situation by Chinese spies. KÜRŞAD decided that it would be wiser to not back down and to choose death rather than captivity. The plan changed. They would ambush the emperor not in the street, but directly in his palace.
5. The palace raid, 40 men against an army.
KÜRŞAD and his 40 warriors attacked the Chinese imperial palace in the darkness of night and amidst a storm. The Chinese guards were taken aback. 40 brave Turkish warriors, cutting down hundreds of Chinese soldiers, began to advance towards the emperor's bedroom. Great panic and a bloody battle erupted in the palace. However, the emperor, out of fear, hid under his bed, and the number of soldiers began to increase.
6. The last stand on the Wei River, march to immortality.
When the number of soldiers inside the palace reached thousands, and the possibility of capturing the emperor alive disappeared, KÜRŞAD ordered a retreat. Their goal was to take the horses from the palace stables and leave Chang'an. They managed to seize the horses and leave the city, riding towards the Wei River. However, the storm had caused the river to overflow and the bridge to collapse. Unable to cross, KÜRŞAD and his surviving warriors faced the massive Chinese army, pursuing them one last time on the riverbank. 40 warriors fought to their last breath and fell as martyrs there.
7. The awakening of a nation, KÜRŞAD's legacy.
KÜRŞAD and his 40 warriors were dead, but they had achieved their goal in a different way. The Chinese emperor was terrified that only 40 men could storm his vast palace and get so close. Fearing, if 40 Turks can do this, what will I do if hundreds of thousands rise up? He decided to release the Turks he held captive and send them outside the Great Wall of China. This flame of independence, ignited by KÜRŞAD, illuminated the path years later to the establishment of the Second Turkic Khaganate, under the leadership of İlteriş Kutluk Khan.